soldiers, if I want to say British, is it British Muslim soldiers?
Yes, that's right.
A
Yes.
group that you lead to go to Umrah. How was that? What was it about, and how it came about?
Yeah. Firstly, the time has flown by, Sheikh, because of your tawajjuh
No,
and your attention
not at all, not
that
at all.
you have provided on the show, and your questioning and your attention and your kindness in having me on the show. So I appreciate that. The I just want to, if I can, I know we're running out of time, but I do want to comment on the point you made, that there is a lot of misperception out there and a lot of misinformation or a lot of disinformation out there. And it's important that as Muslims, we don't get embroiled in this disinformation, because this disinformation only does a disservice to our progress. So I think we should try and decipher what is true information and what is fake information. And this is our Islamic responsibility. Global politics are global politics. And, we should try and create some harmony in our society through better understanding of various things, which I won't go into too much detail about. But yes, this trip is very powerful, actually. Like I mentioned before the break, that I've been to various countries. And when I came back from Afghanistan, they asked me to become the dedicated Islamic religious advisor to the Chief of the Defense Staff. And for those people who don't know what this means, this is the most senior serving military officer in the land. And so they said, you're an Imam, you're a Muslim, you've got so much experience. We need you at the high headquarters in the Ministry of Defense, helping us to understand the Muslim world. And so as part of that responsibility, I have been asked to travel to different parts of the world and meet senior Muslims, particularly those Muslims who work, senior Muslims, and who work in the armed forces. So I went to Saudi Arabia and I met with the general who is responsible for religious affairs in the Saudi armed forces. And, we became friends and we had a good relationship. He came to the UK, I hosted him in the UK, he invited me to the Saudi Arabia, and he then asked me to bring the senior Christian chaplain to the armed forces, and we went there and we visited him. And that way we are building relationships in understanding each other better, and particularly building stronger relationships between our two countries through faith and understanding. So he was shocked that there were Muslims in the British Armed Forces. He said, how can you have Muslims serving in the British Armed Forces? And I said, well, they are Muslims and they live in this country and they serve in the British military. So from that conversation, he said, you know what, I want to host Muslims in the British Armed Forces for Hajj and Umrah every year.
Wow,
and so
subhanallah. And
yeah.
I suppose that is VIP treatment on that level.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I can't complain. They don't they do everything to make sure that we are fully looked after. But this is I can just share something with you, and that is we are hosted by the Ministry of Defense. So the Ministry of Defense gets a quota from the king that, okay, you can host this many people for Hajj and Umrah. Then the Ministry of Defense will invite us to go to Saudi Arabia, and we will be looked after by this general. But there are so many other delegations there. We are the only delegation from a non-Muslim country. Wow. All the other delegations are from like Muslim countries, from Morocco, from Jordan, from Malaysia, and from Indonesia and from Pakistan and all of this kind of stuff. And we are the only delegation from a non-Muslim country. And through that position, we're able to have a good relationship with different militaries in different parts of the world. But the most powerful thing, I think, of this is that when I bring these soldiers back from Hajj and Umrah and I send them back to their units, I get a call from the commanding officer and they say, "What did you do?" I said, "What do you mean? What did I do?" I said, You took this soldier to pilgrimage. What did you do to him?" I said, "I didn't do anything to him. What's wrong?" And he goes, "Nothing's wrong. He has now become one of our best soldiers in the whole unit."
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
So the experience that they have in Hajj and Umrah, in building their spirituality and their sense of responsibility, is reflected back in the unit. And this way we can, alhamdulillah, promote a really positive understanding of Islam at the grassroots.
So when the Saudi general say that he's the host of you and the soldiers, the British soldiers, therefore the entire trip is sponsored.
Well, yes. I mean, there's some technicalities. Obviously, uh, we raise some funds from our side to get ourselves out to Jeddah. But once we land in Jeddah, like as soon as we come off the aircraft, we don't have to worry about anything. We don't even have to go to the normal terminal. They pick us up from coming off the aircraft, and we don't have to worry about anything until we're back on the aircraft.
Subhanallah, you get all, as long as you're in the Saudi territory, you get all the VIP treatment. Wow. Listen, I will have to find out when you are across there for Hajj and Umrah, and maybe I'll have to make my Umrah and Hajj so I can be your guest when you are in Saudi, because that is really top of the line VIP, and I know the kind of security you guys will have on the 9 yards. That's a blessing. Imam Hafiz, you are really blessed. Alhamdulillah. You are chosen. You are chosen. Alhamdulillah.
But this is the thing, and when we speak to communities in the UK about experiences of Muslims in the British military, they have this perception that, oh, because they've joined the military, they will lose their faith. Actually, when we demonstrate to them that the British Armed Forces allows Muslims, as part of their work, to go and do their pilgrimage, they are absolutely shocked about this. And it challenges their misperceptions about what it means to serve in the military of the country that you live in.